a lot of athletes do suffer from the mental hangup and the pressure cooker that is the recruiting process.
So getting recruited is tough, and it's getting tougher, and this year is exceptional. So talk us through the sort of hang-ups that you see athletes presenting with as they're going through this process.
A lot of athletes that we're working with, we're happy to get them at the beginning of their sophomore year. We generally get a lot of athletes at the beginning of their junior year. Sometimes we get athletes at the second semester of their junior year. And, the heavy recruiting that's going on is happening between junior summer and the fall of senior year. And it's in that time that athletes need to be, ready academically and athletically so that they can have as many conversations, as many opportunities as possible. One of the things that we do see in this process is, when you're working with sophomores or you're working with juniors in their first semester, they progress pretty well. And they progress pretty well because the concept is still the concept of recruiting. It's not real yet. It's sort of an abstract concept. Well, then we get into the second semester of junior year and we specifically get into junior summer. And athletes start to understand that the window for recruiting is wide open and soon to be closed. Attention starts to creep in, and a timeline starts to be felt by these athletes. And a lot of athletes do suffer from the mental hangup and the pressure cooker that is the recruiting process.
I'm guessing then that there is a lot of opportunity for an individual to present an excuse.
Absolutely.
As part of that hang up.
As a coach, I've heard every excuse. I've heard every excuse a high school athlete can come up with. As a coach, you gently work through that with the athletes to sort of shed through and all of those excuses. And then you have the real conversation, which is, to level with an athlete and help them understand this journey is unique because it's their journey, but they're not the first athlete to go through the recruiting process. They're not the first athlete to have hangups and excuses. They're not the first athlete to be looking at everything other than themselves as the reason why. But then I reassure them that all the other athletes made it through. A lot of times it takes helping an athlete understand that they need to loosen their grip, and not loosen their grip in the way that they don't care about the outcome anymore, but instead to be very, very focused on process over outcome. And you see that in the younger athletes, it's all process. They don't care about the outcome. They're new to rowing. They're freshmen and sophomore and first semester juniors. And isn't this cool? And I'm having so much fun and I love it. And then the pressure starts to mount. And that's where you're seeing athletes becoming just, the outcome is right there. It's just in their face. They can taste it every single day, and it's blocking them from being able to see what they need to do daily to continue to move forward. And so it's about helping them loosen their grip a little bit and helping them understand the only thing that they can ask of themselves or that anyone else can ask of them is, did I do my best on that day? And when we have great days, we want to keep the pedal down. When we have average days, we want to keep the status quo. And when we have terrible days, we want to limit the damage. And if we've done that, there's no need for excuses. We can be very honest that we have no regrets about what we did, and we did everything we could on that day to move forward. Am I doing the most that I possibly can today? Or am I looking back and regretting, I should have done this or I should have done that? Life's too short for the coulda, shoulda, woulda. One of the things that I advise rowers, if you're going to go down to the boathouse every day, you might as well make the most of it. If you're going to put the time in, you might as well do the best that you possibly can. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time and the team's time. What's the point?
So how do you teach people about this mindset of opportunity?
Yeah, it goes back to what we were just talking about in terms of loosening the grip a little bit. Not that you don't care, but really focusing on what it is that you can control in the space that you're operating out of on that day. Opportunity is created out of movement, right? Paralysis through analysis, as we talk about in rowing. You can overthink the rowing stroke. You can overthink your training. You can overthink rowing. You can get yourself just totally locked up analyzing things. But there's no substitute for doing. And a lot of times it just comes down to not worrying about outcome so much, but just really focused on the stroke that you're on. Take that stroke to the best of your ability, shelve it, take the next one, and just keep stacking stroke after stroke after stroke. On the great days, they're amazing strokes. On the average days, we're trying to make sure we're doing at least as well as we did the day before. And on the terrible days, there will always be terrible days. Nobody has a great day every single day. How do you limit the damage, right? How little do you let the rowing stroke or the splits on the ergometer get away from you? And if you can limit that damage, you can look yourself in the mirror, in the eye afterwards and say, well, that's what I had. And I gave it. My mind wanted to give more. My body said no. That's what I had. And that creates consistency in movement, and that creates speed, and that creates improvement. And that's where opportunity starts to come from, is from moving and doing. You're creating that opportunity through movement and commitment to that daily mindset of improvement.